In this episode of Fistful of Joes, I have done something that I didn't think I was capable of doing. Cheating. Stick around to see what I mean. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name's Rob, and in this episode, we will be grabbing another Fistful of Joes. Now, for those of you that have no idea what I am talking about, Fistful of Joes is a monthly series where I reach in and grab a random handful of Joes from these little storage containers where I store my G.I. Joe figures, and we discuss them, look at them, play with them, just generally have a good time. See, the bad thing is when you start storing figures like this, you kind of lose touch of what you have and how much fun they were to play with. Now in the intro, I said I cheated, and what that means is these aren't random choices. These are ones that I actually had to pick out myself because we are getting to the point where they are just boxes full of troop building figures, and there are a lot of figures that we've looked at recently. So to prevent any reruns in the figures, I decided it's time for me to just start picking some out that we haven't looked at yet. I hate to say it, we are 28 episodes deep into this series, and I kind of see an end in sight, but that's a topic we'll talk about at a later date. Until then, let's have some fun and take a look at 5 different G.I. Joe figures from my collection. So, here we go! Yo, Joe! Okay, folks, here we go. Here is a hand-selected batch of 5 G.I. Joe figures from my collection. And like I kind of stated, we are getting to the bottom of the barrel. I hate to admit that, but we are. Now, I have some ideas cooking to how we can move forward, but like I said, that'll be a topic for another day. But until then, let's have some fun and take a look at these figures. The first one is from the Plague Trooper / Steel Brigade pack that was put out by Toys R Us in the early mid-2000s. And we've looked at a handful of the different figures in earlier episodes, but this one is Grimskull, a Plague Trooper. Here's his file card. And I think last episode we actually looked at the Plague Trooper captain. I forget what his name was, but he has an awesome sword. Now, from what we can see here, this is, ooh, tight head there. Like I said, this is from the early to mid 2000s, and this was a style of Joe figure that was pretty prevalent at that time period. Now, also in that time period, they had like the comic packs that had more of a classic G.I. Joe look to them, and then these, and even some that had even more broader shoulders and more pronounced shoulder joints. But this is a pretty nice style of figure. It's very reminiscent of one of the Snake Eyes, well, a couple of the Snake Eyes figures that came out in this time period. And to be honest, when I was going through the box and I just saw the feet, I kind of thought it was a Snake Eyes figure. Now, this is when, before the 25th anniversary figures came out, this was probably some of the most articulated Joe figures on the market. I mean, like I was showing, they have these ankle joints, just a single knee joint. They have, of course, full range of motion in the waist, or I don't know what, thigh area, waist. And these still have an O-ring, as you can see, without hurting them. You can see the bounce there. We got elbow, hands spin, and of course the swivel grip there. But
I mean, look at the design of this guy. It's kind of gladiatorial. I really like the yellow highlights. It really stands out. And like I said, the gladiatorial type of helmet. Very good detailing. Yeah, this is pretty much the mold of Snake Eyes, because I believe he has that same pistol on his side. Another pistol here with some combat gear. Got a utility belt with different things. Look, there's a knife in it. And of course, this was before the time where they really went crazy with giving you the accessories that actually go into holsters and sheaths and things like that. Now, look at this awesome gun he comes with. It fires these small rockets. Really nice design. Kind of futuristic, yet not at the same time. And he came with a base. And this little machine pistol. That is like an Uzi with a flashlight underneath, I'll say, because I would think it would be kind of weird to have an M203 on the bottom of an Uzi. Ooh, just noticed how dirty my nails are. Sorry about that. I'm just a working Joe. No pun intended. So, let's... Oh, that's... so nasty. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, he's kind of having a hard time holding this gun because of how open the hand is. It's a very small handle, if you can see, so it slips right out of his hand. Now, his hands are very pliable. So let's see if we can at least get him into a little pose before we move on. Ooh, is a wrist starting to come out there? Boy. Now, this is honestly the first time I've really played with him or tried to pose him with his gun, so I am flying blind here on any tips and tricks. Well, look, we can have him stand like this. Oh, come on. Wow, his feet holes don't even want to fit into the base. There we go. Here, we'll just have him hold it like that. Stand here. You. Anyway, he'll lay on the job over here. Take your machine pistol with you. Next is a Black Ninja figure that came with the Arashikage set. Again, came out really early 2000s. And this was the set that I've talked about that came with an awesome archway with the, the hexagon. Sorry, not hexagon. Oh, I can't think of the name. Anyway, it's really late at night, as usual, so forgive me for my absent-mindedness. Hexagram. Yes, that's the word. The hexagram of the Arashikage, and was super cool. Came with, a couple ninjas, of course, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. But this was the, Black Dragon Ninja. As you can see, a dragon emblem on his chest. And the shoulders look a lot more prominent on this, compared to that figure. They kind of stand out more. Might just be this figure in general, but there are some that are very, large shouldered, but you can see his blue eyes there. His interesting ninja mask with bolts and stuff. Just looks like a definite bad dude. Now, the backpack hole, the screw hole here, is a lot lower because it is accommodating this interesting back bling here, to borrow a term from Fortnite. But it wraps around to the bandolier, at least the top. The bottom does not. I guess the bandolier just goes into the gold belt here, which has some nice detailing, as you can see. Got a flower there, a couple little gold pouch there. Has these other pouches. Then it turns into combat webbing here on the back with a steel plate bolted on. I like the red highlights here. It would have been nice if they continued that on this side. But it's a very simple figure. I don't know how many other versions there are of this particular figure, but like I said, it came with the pack. And I believe that pack also came with a video of the Cobra vs. Joe's cartoon. Like their first foray into the computer animated world. Spy Force or something like that it was called. But he comes with these sweet butterfly knives, or butterfly swords, sorry. And he holds them pretty nicely. They're not going anywhere. Getting ready to chop into somebody. But, it's a pretty simple figure. Not much to talk about. Still an O-ring design. Like the legs and the waist are pretty classic Joe. It's just so much different up here in the shoulder area to add that extra articulation. The hands don't spin like they would a year or two later, like with this guy. So, that's that. Like I said, very simple. So, we'll put them here with his bag so I don't forget it. Now, the comic packs, which I was talking about, I believe this scrap iron came with it. And I love the coloring of it. Now, I'm a fan of scrap iron in general, and I like the dark colors of the original figure. But these, more comic, accurate colors, really nice. Got that weird, tight O-ring thing that some of these figures developed. And the only thing, honestly, that kind of stinks about this guy... A little tight, that's good. Like I said, one of the things that stinks about this is he doesn't come with his awesome, rocket launcher. What he does come with is this kind of generic, I don't know, over-under laser missile jet turbine. I don't know, I was going to say rifle, but that doesn't seem like the correct terminology for something of this size. Super futuristic. This looks like something you would have gotten with the Kenner Aliens line. Look at that. Ooh, now it can be like a sound disruptor, like Psych Out had or something. Interesting. Learn something new every day. But he also came with this awesome Destro-esque machine gun, submachine gun. Very simple detail, but very effective. It's a very nice gun. But just, I would have loved for him to have his old school rocket or missile launcher. Rocket launcher, same diff. But like I said, I'm a big fan of this color scheme. Like I said, it's very reminiscent of the coloring of the comic. But, it's pretty much the exact same figure. Some structural issues with them, but all in all, great figure. Happy to have him. I don't have my original one anymore, so I'm happy to have him in the collection until I'm fortunate one day to stumble upon the original version. So we'll set him here. Next is old school 80s. Now I bought this at a convention. They had all these figures in these awesome clamshells just hanging up. But, I mean, an OG Torch. This was a figure I wanted so bad as a kid. So when I saw him at the convention for a fair price, and mind you, this was many, many, many years ago, I leapt at the chance. I mean, comes with all of his gear here. I see a problem. I've not opened him before, but look at that. It's broke there. Part of the nub broke off in there. That might require some doctoring to kind of drill that out so this remaining part of the nub can fit in there. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, it's down in there. Whoops, sorry for the dirty nail again. But yeah, that's down in there good, unfortunately. I have to get my Dremel with a real small bit and just kind of just to open it up so we can attach it again. But anyway, let's pose him without attaching it. Like I said, I wanted the Dreadnoks so bad. Unfortunately, the first one I got was, of course, Zartan. I was lucky enough to have him right out of the gate. He was a gift from my parents' friends one Christmas. But other than that, it was Monkey Wrench, Xander, Zorana, and Zanzibar were the only ones that I had. I did not have the OG3, and it always kind of bummed me out. I mean, they were everywhere, in the comics, in the cartoon. I mean, they were the original Three Amigos. As you can see, his O-ring is very loose. I will also have to replace that while I'm, doing some doctoring to the backpack, so we can tighten that up. Ooh. But yeah, again, just happy to have him. And one day, yes, I have the reproductions of, and the 25th anniversaries of the other three, the other two of the original Dreadnoks, but I would love to get them in the OGs, but I can just assume they're pretty pricey. So let's put him to the side and look at our last figure, which is kind of unique. I mean, it was something I want to say caught on in popularity in the... Okay, let me show you first. This is Hologram Cobra Commander. He is translucent blue, and like I said, this is the hologram version. He also came in a comic pack, and it's an awesome looking figure. I mean, they took like one of the original molds and did it in a clear plastic. And what I was going to say was, the first figure I can ever remember similar to this was like the ghost version of Obi-Wan or Anakin, I think, in the, the 90s re-releases of the Star Wars figures. It's weird. In person, these detailings, and of course you can see them, but they're not as dark as it is in the film version. That's really interesting. With this flat back, it makes me think this was like the sound ones that came with the huge backpack with the buttons that made different noises. Oh, again, it's late. My memory is escaping me, but those sound fighters or whatever they were called. But it's kind of goofy, but I really dig this figure. I just think it's a really neat, different take on Cobra Commander. I mean, I have a few hooded, a few with the dome. Heck, I even have a few of him in his mech suit. But this is the first and only hologram one that I can think of, and that is really cool. I mean, like I said, it's kind of unique to have one that's different than all the rest in your collection. Here's the file card he came with, by the way. Even in the picture, he is hologrammed. Here's his quote: "I learned long ago how to get what I want. Take it by persuasion, by force, or by any way you can. No one else matters. That's how you win." Yep. Sounds like Cobra Commander, all right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Now back to me.
Anyway, folks, back to me. I just want to say, yes, I know it's kind of goofy, but I really like that Cobra Commander figure. At first when I bought it, I didn't really know what to think, but as time has gone by and seeing it after I haven't seen it for a while, I really like it. Like I said, it's kind of neat to have a new version of an old favorite and done in the classic style. And I'm still a kid at heart, so things like see-through plastic and glow-in-the-dark are still majorly awesome in my book. So, yeah, Cobra Commander, you outdid yourself this time. This was another Cobra heavy episode, and I think the reason for that is, as we get to my last box, it is just chock full of troop building figures. So I have different Cobra figures, Cobra officer figures, Viper figures, ninja figures, all jammed in this box. And since they're all Cobra, the extra Cobra figures that were just floating around ended up in that box. So that's why the tail end of this series has been mostly Cobra heavy. Now, like I said, this series is kind of nearing its end, but fear not, because like I said, and we'll talk about it more in detail later, probably in July, I don't want this series to end. I just have so much fun, so it will continue on just a little bit different. But like I said, we will talk about that more in detail in July. G.I. Joe July, I might add. Anyway, thanks for stopping by and playing G.I. Joe with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.